Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, just came out, and on the first day of its screening in the UK, I managed to watch it with a few friends. Now, before talking about the movie, I'd like to bring up the last two Sonic movies for context. In 1996, the Sonic OVA came out, and in my opinion, it's pretty good. The plot is relatively simple and follows closely to the classic games. The characters are good, and the voice acting is fine, and fits the classic counterparts of those characters. Have to say, the best part about the film is its art style. I love the 90s anime look this film has, and the movie feels something right out of the Sonic CD opening, which I adore. The one main glaring issue I had with the film is that it kind of feels rushed, and after finishing the film, I was left wanting more. Though, all in all, it's a good Sonic film. Now for Sonic the Hedgehog 2020. I remember back in 2019 when I had absolutely zero faith in this film, but then the new design came and I was actually excited, and sometime around February of 2020 I watched it in theaters and I remember thinking it was good. I think the best part of the film was definitely how Sonic looked. He generally looked great. The CGI altogether looked good, and I liked the little blue electricity effect they gave him. The redesign, to be honest, saved this movie, and I like how it didn't try to look exactly like Game Sonic. Though I do love Game Sonic's design, I don't think his design would clash very well with real-world humans, especially with the big one eye thing he has. Jim Carrey was great too. He did a great job with Robotnik, and his banter with Agent Stone was very entertaining to watch. You can easily tell that Jim Carrey was obviously having fun with his role. Though I had multiple problems with the movie. For starters, it felt kind of generic. What I mean by this is that it's a very regular family-friendly road trip movie with an animal, which happens a lot, like whole lot. And some of the jokes didn't land. I think some were good, but some of them were kind of cringe. But to be fair, this is clearly a movie made for kids. Plus, the scenes when Sonic gets all sad and stuff just come out of nowhere. I get it's supposed to be relatable to Sonic fans since they have no friends, but it feels a bit eh. And the bit when Sonic gets angry at Tom for leaving Green Hills makes no sense. There's still cops in Green Hills, and at the end of the day, Tom is likely doing more good in San Francisco. So yeah, I think the first one was fine. Compared to each other, I say as a movie, the 2021 is better, but as a Sonic movie, I say that the OVA is better. If you were to ask me which one I prefer, I have to say the OVA. It's a hard pick, but I really like its art style and animation. Now for the review you've been waiting for. When this first got announced, I was really excited for it. With the inclusion of Tails and the orchestra of Emerald Hill playing, it seemed like this time they were going to have more material from the games, which I definitely wanted more of from the first film. Then the first trailer came out and my expectations were blown away. From everything I've seen from the marketing, the many trailers and teasers, I was more excited for this film than the first movie. Though I feel like they sold a bit too much from the marketing. There are some major scenes from the trailers that I felt would have been better as a surprise, but nevertheless, it made me really optimistic for the movie and my expectations were quite high. On April 1st, 2022, I went to my local cinema, brought my hat because I want everyone to know I don't have a life, and it was actually more larger than I thought it would be. There was surprisingly a lot of people there, and some guy dressed up as Robotnik was even there to take photos, which is great. Plus, the dude was 100% Jim Carrey. I didn't take any photos, but here's this pretty cool promotional stand here. So, after 2 hours and 2 minutes, what did I think? Well, before going to the conclusion, let me explain the plot. I won't delve into spoilery territory, but I'll talk about spoilers later in the video. After the events of Sonic 1, Tom and Maddie go to Hawaii to celebrate Rachel's marriage. This leaves Sonic to have the house all to himself, but out of nowhere, Robotnik comes back with a new friend, Knuckles the Echidna. However, Sonic also has a new friend by his side, Miles Tails Prower. so it's up to Sonic and Tails to stop Robotnik and Knuckles. Simple plot, but I really love how they took some more elements from the games and put it into this film. I like how this film combined both Sonic 2's and Sonic 3 and Knuckles' plot together. For the most part, this film has relatively good pacing. I never felt bored watching it, however, the side plots with the humans felt kind of weak. The whole marriage thing wasn't at all important to the plot, and I get that they wanted to flesh out the human characters, but compared to the Sonic side, it doesn't stack up. The main cast all around are stellar. The voice acting here is really good and the voices fit each character really well. Ben Schwartz as Sonic does another great job, even greater job as Sonic. He's not my favorite Sonic voice actor, but he nailed the teenage cocky attitude Sonic always had. Colleen also comes back from the games to voice Tails, and honestly, she's definitely the best voice actor we had for Tails. And it's really cool that they brought her back to play as Tails instead of picking a celebrity like Tom Holland. Also, people were genuinely petitioning for Tom to be Tails for the next Sonic movie, even though Colleen was the voice of Tails in the post-credit scene of the first film. Look, I love Tom, the man can act, but can we stop putting him everywhere? Of course, Idris Elba plays Knuckles, and I have to say, he was amazing as the role. I know kids movies nowadays like to sub in A-list celebrities, and sir, it gets kind of annoying, but Idris absolutely killed it. He perfectly encapsulates Knuckles' character. Of course, you can't mention Jim Carrey, which he was also really good in this film too. As good as the first film. Everything you can say about his performance from the first film still applies here. And the other characters, which were fine. I didn't notice any bad acting in the film, so overall the acting was great and a step up from Sonic 1. The writing for the most part was good. I think all the characters were written well and fit the game counterparts well. Sonic is, well, Sonic. There are a lot of scenes in the film that just feel right out of a Sonic game. Which reminds me, I love the callbacks and references to the games in this movie. The first film didn't really have too much references and just did its own thing, but this film has so much fan service. I honestly love the little Easter eggs, from Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, to the little things like Dr. Stone's coffee shop being called Mean Bean, being a reference to Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean machine. Tails' character here, while not getting the amount of love Sonic and Knuckles got, is still pretty good. He acts as a good companion to Sonic, and both characters have a lot of great character bonding moments with each other. Though I would have liked to see more development with Tails' character, like what Sonic Adventure did, but I think they did a pretty good job with Tails. Now for Knuckles. I have to say, out of everything this film has to offer, Knuckles has to be my favorite thing about this film. Seriously, every single thing about him, from his scenes, his voice, his character, is just great. I loved every scene he was in, and the dialogue he says with other characters is great. I especially really liked his scenes with Sonic. Honestly, this is the best interpretation of Knuckles we've ever had. A lot of modern Sonic writers misinterpret his character, making him just a one-note stereotype, when in actual fact Knuckles is more than that. The reason why he teams up with Robotnik is not because he's dumb, it's because he's the last of his race, left alone with no one to care for him or talk to him. The reason why he joins Robotnik is because he saw Robotnik as a trustful ally, an ally like the echidna tribe he lost. The action set pieces here too are amazing. Of course, the fights between Sonic and Knuckles are easily some of the best scenes from the movie. The final battle was simply spectacular. That had me at the edge of my seat. It was the definition of hype. The comedy, for the most part, is mainly the same as the first film. There are a few scenes that made me laugh, but there are definitely a few cringe moments that are kind of...
Oh no!
The CGI for the most part looked good. The main cast once again looks great. Surprisingly, they kept the original game designs for Tails and Knuckles, and in the movie, they look good. I'm honestly pretty happy they decided to just keep the original designs. I don't mind an original design if it's somewhat similar to the games, but damn, I'm happy to see those iconic Lego suits in the big screen. Though in a few scenes the CGI can look a bit off, most notably in Ice Cap Zone. There's one scene of Robotnik in the Eggmobile and it looks very off. You can easily tell that there was something wrong with it, but it never took away from my overall experience. The music is the weakest part of the movie. It was pretty generic, which is shocking as Sonic has a wide range of great OSTs and songs. Even the OVA had some pretty memorable tunes, but for this film, it was just forgettable. The movie included some copyrighted music which didn't really work for me, and Stars in the Sky was alright. I think it's a relatively fine song, and the sprite art for it is great. But there's not a song in this movie that feels like a Sonic song. Okay, now I'm going to be discussing some major spoilers for the film, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click to the time frame to see my conclusion. Starting off, I'm really happy that the movie included some lore and backstory to Long Claw. He was in the first film for a few seconds, then got assassinated.
That's it. I've had enough.
But with this film, they finally gave an explanation as to why the echidnas killed Long Claw, which links to the Master Emerald. The scene explaining the Master Emerald also looked really cool and had a great art style. Plus the Master Emerald, which isn't really a spoiler, but the way it's presented here is quite different from the games. Most notably, Angel Island Zone doesn't seem to be present here, which surprises me. Knuckles at this point isn't the protector of the Master Emerald, and the Chaos Emeralds altogether make the Master Emerald, which is definitely a more unique take on it, but I feel like it's for the best, since I want the movies to do their own thing while still taking some elements from the games, which I think this movie excels at. Speaking of the Master Emerald, in the final battle, Sonic uses it to become Super Sonic. While watching it in theaters, it made me so happy. I honestly loved seeing Super Sonic back again, and even though it was kinda obvious that Super Sonic was going to be in the movie, it was still great nevertheless. And that scene of him summoning a chili dog is the most stupidest and cheesiest thing ever, and actually got a good laugh out of me. And the post-credit scene. When I heard the phrase 50 years ago, my jaw instantly dropped. All in all, I am so excited for the future of this franchise with the inclusion of Shadow. It's about time that the Sonic film franchise is going to adapt the plot of SA2, which in my opinion is one of the best Sonic plots ever, and I genuinely think that the plot of SA2 would be perfect for a movie, and especially for this universe. I might make a follow-up video in what I want for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but for now, I am so happy. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a love letter to all Sonic fans. Even the most casual of fans can still get a kick out of this movie. I can go on and on about this movie. Even one of my friends who was coming into this movie expecting a bad movie came out thinking it was good. And one of my friends could not shut the fuck up for the entirety of the movie. I mean, the man generally said more lines than Sonic did in the movie. Literally, all I could hear were outdated memes and no emeralds, no bridges, no bridges, no bridges. I seriously had to throw popcorn at the guy to make him shut up. But overall, I love Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And compared to the other two Sonic films, this movie is for sure the best Sonic film. It combines the characters and Sonic elements from the OVA with the animation and world of Sonic 1, creating the best video game movie I have ever seen. So for my final verdict, go watch this film. If you're a fan of Sonic, hardcore or casual, go watch it immediately. And if you want to watch something good this April, watch this film. You have this or Jared Leto's emo phase in the movie. So yeah, good movie, 8 out of 10.